Beautiful day for racing here today.
But the track temperature, 88 degrees, that's hotter than it's been the entire time we've been here. Really going to make these cars slow. Just like yesterday in the Busch race, Ryan Newman on the bottom. In the 12 car, he gets the run off turn 2. Jamie McMurray, our winner yesterday in the 42 car, falls in behind him, running second. Right now on fresh tires, these guys will be running right around the bottom of the racetrack. Ryan Newman will get his 5 bonus points for leading lap here on the first lap.
Darrell, on these fresh tires, everybody feels they're Superman for a while.
Well, you do, but as you can see, you're forced to the outside. And, of course, we had the Busch race here yesterday, and there's plenty of grip up there. I think you'll see guys hopping to the outside right away, trying to make those passes back in the field.
McMurray, conserving nothing, goes for the lead on the inside, turn 1.
He's in the 42 car. Looks like he picks up the throttle so much earlier in the middle of the corner than Ryan Newman in the 12.
He's just got a knack for this racetrack. 4 straight Busch wins here, one again yesterday, and he is on a tear.
He has that confidence.
Brendan Gaughan may have scraped the wall coming out of turn number 2. He continues, no apparent damage, just a little puff of smoke there. And at third place, Rusty Wallace is under fire from Casey Kane.
Brendan should watch that hot spot thing there. Don't that wall jump out there and bite you.
Casey Kane in that 9 car. Remember, this is the car that won the race here in November, but it was with Bill Elliott. Bill Elliott made his first career start here in 1976. Casey Kane was not even born.
59-year-old Joe Ruttman took 2 laps in the James Finch 09 and has pulled that car to the garage area.
Rusty Wallace in the 2 car, he continues to lose spots. He lost a spot then to Jeff Gordon in the 24 and Jeff Green in the 43. The Petty car is right behind him now.
Really got off of turn 2 over there really well. And boy, when you can man it over there, that's what happens. So you have to start working the throttle. The guy behind you doesn't. That works good unless somebody's in your way and you run over them.
There you have to drive a car here as much with the throttle pedal as you do that steering wheel.
Well, like Steve said, you need that egg under the pedal all the time because that's how it's going to be.
A lot of history at Rockingham for that number 43. Richard Petty from Level Cross, just up Route 220. Brand new Petty Museum at Randleman, where you'll see a lot of that STP red and Petty blue. Worth a visit.
And I really think this is a race that Jeff Green could run well in. The car has run good here with Bobby Hamilton back a few years ago, and Jeff runs good here. So we can see some good things out of the 43 today.
2 distinct grooves here, and Jeff Gordon is the first in turns 3 and 4 to run it way up on the high side, and we'll see a lot of that today.
Oh, that's rim riding, and I love it, baby. You get up there and just let the rough side drag.
Now, what I've been watching the last 2 or 3 laps, and we're only on about lap 7 or 8. He's running the bottom in 1 and 2. He's running the high groove in 3 and 4. And there's a reason for that, Larry, believe it or not. The sun is setting. As it goes down in the west, it sets it shines on turns 3 and 4, and it gets a little bit slicker than 1 and 2. You see our Fox tracks, the number there, it says car lengths. That's how many car lengths he's behind leader Jamie McMurray in the 42.
You used to always have to guess at that.
Now we know it. The Fox track shows it to us.
Tell you one thing we don't have to guess at. That's all those Dodges up there in the first 10. A whole fleet of them. I just think the new rule change, Larry, I think it's played right into the Dodge car's hands. I don't know why. Something about the bodies, I guess, but this shorter spoiler, and it seems to be playing into the Dodge's hands.
Well, last year here it was the Fords that cleaned house, took the first 8 spots. This year it's the Dodges.
And you know, Ford got a new nose, and they got more downforce on the nose than they had last year. That may turn out to bite them.
Because the rear spoiler being reduced in size took rear downforce away. The balance on the car, difference from front and rear, may be off.
For more on the lead Dodge, Steve Burns.
Hey, Mike, it took Jamie McMurray exactly 3 laps to say, guys, I'm loose already. His spotter, Lord Lanier, said, nice and easy does it. And we said, in 10 laps, those tires will drop off by a full second. Matt Yoakum.
Either took a lap and a half for Ryan Newman to tell his crew chief, Matt Borland, that his 12 car is tight all the way around this racetrack. It was both loose and tight during the final practice session. Some changes have helped. They still have some work to do.
And Matt, I watched that group this morning. They were not very good in the final practice yesterday. They pretty much changed everything but the roof number on that car.
But you got one of them that's loose, and he's complaining. You got one of them that's tight, he's complaining, but they're running the same lap speeds.
This group right here, Jimmy Johnson in the 48, Elliott Sadler in the 38, we're riding here with Robbie Gordon in the 31. They're in desperation right now. They're stuck back in traffic. We're only 11 laps into this run. They're already a half a lap down to the leader.
You cannot linger in the back. You've got to get going. I think Robbie got up in the wall here somewhere over there off of turn 2, probably. Let's see if we can see. Well, here he is. He's up in that kind of that transition area we were talking about, and smacks that wall right there where it sticks out.
He's coming off DW's hot spot.
He just hit it. She will be marked well before the day is over with.
From Michael Waltrip's onboard camera, looking back at Robbie Gordon.
And I tell you, Jeff Gordon is making a really good, he's making up a lot of ground running that high line off of turns 3 and 4.
And it's easier on the tires up there. I mean, you run where your car wants to run, where it feels the best, but it's so much easier on the tires.
Plus, there's a lot of grip up there. Everybody tries to run the bottom. You see a real black streak around the bottom of the racetrack. There's a lot of grip up high up there. It's hard on, it'll eat the tires up a little bit more, Larry, because there's no rubber up there, but there's a lot of grip.
The front 5 begin to squeeze back together. McMurray, Newman, Kane, and Mayfield, and Jeff Gordon, the veteran of that group, sits 5th. Jeff Gordon continues to lead by 7/10 of a second over pole sitter Ryan Newman. Matt Kenseth up to 3rd. Rusty Wallace 4th. 3 Dodges, 4 in the top 6, counting McMurray and Casey Kane. As you look at the leaderboard, Sterling Marlin's worked his way up into the top 10, as has Mark Martin.
Yeah, Kurt Busch is lingering there in 11th. Jeff Green was his been-up fender, is still hanging in there in 13th. And Scott Wimmer, he's 14th.
But guys, I tell you right now, 2 of our veterans, Sterling Marlin in that 40 car, the Coors Light car, and Mark Martin in the 6. These 2 guys have worked their way in the top 10. Sterling Marlin, no top 5 finishes last year. And just remember, Jeff Hammond, Mark Martin, this is where he got his first career Cup win in October 1989.
Larry, what you talking about, Mark, got a chance to speak with him this morning, and he was really excited about today's race. He really feels good about this tire combination. He thinks that when they drop off, a guy like him, a veteran like him, can come to the front, work his car on the bottom, work it on the top, and make his way and lead this race and possibly win it. Also, you talk about Sterling Marlin. Funny thing about him, when he got ready to qualify the other day, the team spent all day practicing on race runs. Weren't worried about qualifying, just threw some tape on the nose and went out and made a pretty good effort, but they feel very good about this race car in the long haul.
Yeah, a lot of guys worked on that. 11 teams worked on race setups on Friday because the forecast for yesterday was rain, and they were a little bit fearful of that.
And you watch that out to back of Dale Jr.'s car, and you say, where's Sterling going? He went to the bottom, and Jr. went to the top. But, you know, Larry, I still think if I'm going to have my car one way or the other, I want to have it pretty fast on the get-go. Because if tires are going to fall off, I want to get me a big lead and then let them catch me.
Coming toward the lead is Matt Kenseth, the 17.
Whoa, he jumped a little sideways right there. That's that kind of push loose off of turn 4. You run off that corner and the track really opens up
to the rear.
And what will happen, they drive off in the corner, the car gets a push. In other words, you turn the front steering wheel, the front tires just slide. Then when they finally catch, the rear wheel's going to break.
Clear by 2.
And the difference in 2 and 4 is turn 2, you got no room. So when it does that, you hit the fence. Over here, you got a little bit better angle coming off a corner.
Mark Martin trying to make the move on Dale Jr. for 8th. 9th place now.
Yeah, and he's running the bottom. Mark is running pretty well, too. And that's the line that you would expect Mark Martin to run, because I've seen him race here, and his left wheels never get above the white line.
Comers and goers, the fellow who led at the restart, Robbie Gordon, because he either took 2 or no tires to get track position, is back to 21st. Here's Robbie, 4 spots ahead of where he was running when that caution came out.
Yeah, I mean, the problem right now, though, is I'm trying to see here how far he is behind the leader. He's about 11 seconds in front of the leader right now, so he's over a half a lap down.
And just to show you a little bit about what push loose is all about, we can take a look here at what incident that happened off of turn 4 there a minute ago. Watch the 48 car. Now he's up top. Now, right here, he grabs a whole big handful of steering wheel. He's got to cut. He's in the throttle wide open. But see how the back end will hop out? And that's just from trying to get the throttle wide open with the wheels cut left. When the front finally bites, then the back pops out just a little bit. Got to be on your toes.
Jimmy Johnson, they have just not found theirself this weekend here. He's back in 27th position, and he's only about 7 seconds from going a lap down to the leader, Jeff Gordon.
Throttle, man. There's nobody out there smoother than what you are. Just work that
For the lead.
smooth. You can do it.
Matt Kenseth underneath Jeff Gordon powers his way to the lead. He started 25th.
I believe, or honestly believe, that man, Matt Kenseth, is going to try to show everybody I can win a championship and I can win a lot of races too.
Now you see Jeff Burton in the 99 car. Remember, he just came out of the garage area about 20 laps ago with a radiator change. He's sitting there 19 laps down, but he has about 20 or 25 less laps on his tires. Once again, this shows you, even if you don't have a good race car, and Jeff had a decent race car, how much new tires will do for you, or fresh tires.
I'm kind of anxious to see how far these guys are going to try to stretch it on their first green flag pit stop. See how far they think they can go on these tires.
And let me correct myself. Kenseth started 23rd, not 25th. But still, gained 23 spots and come to the lead this early in the race.
In less than 100 laps.
Casey Kane moving his Dodge up on Rusty Wallace. This is for 4th place, about 2 seconds behind the leader.
And Darrell, I'm with you. I'm anxious to see about who's going to go the furthest on these tires, because this race, it always seems to, about this point in time of the race, get that green flag run to it. Cars kind of get settled down. Cars are they're getting a handle on a little better with adjustments they've made, and you get this long green run here.
Well, if you could look at the total, if you look at the whole racetrack, we got cars everywhere. You know, there's cars on both straightaways and all the corners. They're spread out now to where a driver's got a little room and he doesn't have to take any chances.
And what's going to be a big factor, it's going to be about 10 or 12 laps. Our leader, Matt Kenseth, in the 17, he's going to start catching the tail end of the field, and that's when it really gets in trouble sometimes. Those guys get into desperation trying to stay on the lead lap.
I hate desperation.
Kevin Harvick's had kind of an up and down day. He sits in 24th. Matt?
Kevin Harvick will tell you, if there's one racetrack on the schedule that he would love to delete, it would be Rockingham. He's never led here to Nextel Cup car. He led 24 laps yesterday in the Busch Series race and finished 3rd. He told me the only thing that might have transferred, maybe a little bit of confidence, but it certainly is not helping the handling of the car. He says the car is just junk. It is way too loose to drive. He's tried to move up high and see if the high line will help the looseness, but it hasn't yet, Steve.
Matt, with Pat Trice, the crew chief for Mark Martin. Pat, what is he saying about the race car? What adjustments have you made to get up into the top 10?
So far, he's been pretty happy with it, though. We really haven't touched the Viagra 4 Taurus so far today, but, you know, we're kind of waiting to see how it irons out the longer it goes, but right now he's pretty happy with it. I'm sure we'll have to work on it a little bit, but pretty good so far.
Darrell, why is it the drivers have either a love it or leave it attitude about this place?
Well, it's so slick. And it's so difficult to drive these cars with 800 horsepower around a track that's slick like this. It can just absolutely, it frustrates you so badly that you just want to get out of the car and go home.
And I tell you, talking about
right now,
getting out, Mark Martin was so glad to get out of Daytona and get to Rockingham. He missed the Busch Series race there, finished dead last after engine problems in the Daytona 500. He was glad to get to Rockingham.
And Mike, the other part is you literally are pushing and loose all the time. You turn the wheels, nothing happens. You're pushing. Then the front bites, and then the back end comes around. Now you're loose, and the crew chief's driving you crazy about, give me some feedback, baby, give me some feedback. I said, leave me alone. Can't you see I'm busy?
So Martin trying to move up while one of his Roush Racing teammates, Matt Kenseth, leads this race. And another, Greg Biffle, is in 20th spot. Here's Jeannie.
Well, guys, there are a lot of honorary pit crew members, but this young man is truly honorable. John Silver, the brother of front tire carrier Jeff Silver, is holding the sign today in the 16 pit. Wednesday, he's being deployed to Iraq as a member of the National Guard. So he takes off on February 25th. He's expected to stay there for 12 to 18 months. Doing some work today, got a bigger job to take off for on Wednesday. We certainly salute you as we take a look again at John Silver. If you haven't looked at Ford lately, look again.
We wish him well, Jeannie, and send our best wishes to all of our troops. especially those stationed abroad.
I actually got a call from the Air National Guard, the 131st Aviation, a group from Company E, that called me from Kuwait this week and said, hey, say hello to us. We're going to be tuned in to Fox this weekend watching your race. And we're going to ride with Greg Biffle. It's not going to be a helmet cam. It's going to be a suspension cam. And just look at this is the shock. It never quits moving there. You see how much brake he uses getting in the corner? The rotors actually start to glow, a lot like they would at a short track. But if you just notice, DW, it never quits moving. The suspension is always moving at this racetrack.
Yeah, and you can see the sidewall of that tire, Larry, how much it's felt. See that belly it's got in it right down there? That's where it's flexing at, and that's one of the changes in the tires this year. But you know, Larry, probably you're going to get a little brake heat here like he did momentarily right there, because more than likely you don't have brake ducts on the car here. You probably don't use enough brake here just momentarily to where you don't want to open that front end up and let that air go in.
A lot of time the brakes here can just be a little security blanket for that driver driving off in the corner.
I'm just touching them, I promise.
That's what makes it there.
That's right.
Dodge has dominated qualifying, but now we're at parity. Kansas Ford leads Gordon Chevrolet ahead of Newman's Dodge.
Tony Stewart's actually trying to get one of about 2 laps back. Remember, the reason he is 2 laps down, he just had made a green flag stop before that caution with a flat tire.
You're going to have to be beside the guy if you're going to push him up out of the way.
Bobby Gordon
here we
makes
go.
it
3 wide down into turn 3. Well, only momentarily. Yeah. You either are momentarily or you don't make it.
Kenseth wasted no time in stepping out with the lead.
And actually, Tony Stewart back there, he's actually 3 laps down now. If he'd have got in front of Matt Kenseth, he would have been 2 laps down.
And what happens here, you've got a fast car. I'm watching Jamie McMurray back in there, and he needs to get by those guys in front of him, but the leaders will run off and leave him, and he loses touch with them, and it takes him a long time to chase them back down. See how he's boxed in right there, nowhere to go.
McMurray 42. Inside of Dale Jarrett. That's for 5th place right there.
The lap guys take up all the good lines, you know, and they leave you what's left. All you can do is follow and wait.
Darrell, I'm a little surprised none of those lap cars put up much of a challenge.
Yeah, well, Kenseth got such a great start on Tony that there wasn't any use. I think what they're doing is fighting among themselves right now, trying to be the first car lap down.
We listened in on Matt Kenseth.
Well, that 88's pretty strong. I don't know. I see the 97 creeping up there on the scoreboard. I don't know how he's running, but that 88's pretty good. There's about 4 of them that are running pretty decent right now. 88, 97, and 40 look pretty good. And 4. If it's any consolation, I'm having the time of my life.
160 miles an hour down the straightaway. You got time to look at the scoreboard?
If you're leading the race, you do. Not back in there where those other guys are.
Rusty Wallace is closing back in on Matt Kenseth. Dick?
He's had a big day, Mike. Not only is the car fast, he's just picked up another spot on pit road, running in 2nd place. Larry Carter is his crew chief. How's your confidence level now?
Well, we're pretty confident with our car right now. Pretty rock solid. You know, had some good stops on pit road. Rusty's doing an excellent job out there. You know, just a super job today. So, still early. We'll wait and see what happens here at the end of the race.
Let's see you smile then.
Thank you.
There you go, Mike.
Thanks, Dick.
I'm going to tell you, just remember, DW, we were talking about this the other day. A year ago, Rusty led the most laps here. He was the strongest race car for 2/3 of the race. The track changed. He lost the handle on it. This is the same chassis with a different body. He came here and tested for 2 days, ran over 500 miles in that test.
Well, he's been fast here all week. Led both practice sessions, qualified well. But what Larry Boyd down there's got to be careful is don't let Rusty talk him into doing something at the end of this race.
Now, Matt Kenseth also mentioned Kurt Busch and Dale Jarrett. How about the 40? Sterling Marlin's last top 5 finish, September 2002 at Darlington. So, been a long time for Sterling as well, and he's having a great day.
Larry, you scoundrel. I just now realized where you got all those fancy numbers from.
Yeah, it's coming from our good friends in our production truck.
Is that why you, but you hid that monitor behind, I couldn't see it.
I can't show you everything I know. You see right now, though, they are 4.5 seconds behind our leader, Matt Kenseth, right now. Hammond told me not to show y'all my tricks.
Well, it didn't take him very long to show me all of his tricks, but it might take you a little bit longer.
Fourth place battle, and they're kind of stacked up there. Is Sterling holding Dale Jarrett back and Jamie McMurray? Not anymore.
It's possible. Sterling's got that line, and ooh, boy, Dale just slid right in front of him.
Right now, last time through 3 and 4, these 3 guys ran 3 different lines.
I think Jamie's got the best car. He got held up there a little bit with Robbie Gordon and some of them, the lap traffic, but he's looking mighty fast. Whoa, smoke out of Jarrett. He just blew. A little puff of smoke. I just saw it blow up.
Something just happened.
Sure
No
did.
problem, Mike. We're coming in.
There's
the motor.
Tracks.
Tough break for the defending champion of this race as he coasts across the start-finish
No,
line.
motor's running. It's either transmission or the rear end. Before you can pull off on the end of the wall down here.
It sounds like the motor's running, DW, but he has no acceleration, no power to the rear wheels for whatever reason.
I saw a puff of smoke, and it could have come out from under the car, but it looked like it came out the tailpipes to me.
Well, it looked like to me it's coming out of the right side tailpipes right there.
I think on further review, that.
Jeff?
Guys, right now we're listening to Dale Jarrett talk about his problems. He says the engine's running, but he thinks he has a problem with either the transmission or the gear and what it could be going on. Again, we're just speculating here, but if something hasn't happened internally, it could have happened somewhere maybe in this area right here with the main drive. A lot of times you may have a tendency to have a problem where this thing will break. As you can see, it connects into the back of the engine, and this exactly is what drives the entire drivetrain all the way back to the rear gear.
Yeah, but Jeff, if you could see what we see, that doesn't usually make you smoke out your tailpipes.
And NASCAR must have saw something as well, because the caution is out.
5th caution of the day comes at lap 213. That is not a piece from Rusty's car. It only looks like it.
I don't think Rusty wanted a caution right now.
That obviously rolled out of the grandstand.
All right, so who gets the lap back? Jeff Gordon.
Jeff Gordon gets it back.
Jeff Gordon will get the pardon from the tower. Pardon me, coming through.
Roy, I'm coming through, boys.
Now, even though he gets the free pass, he cannot pit with the lead lap cars. He still has to wait for the second time through.
I just saw this smoke come out of Jarrett's car, and it's off the right side, and it's smoking out the tailpipes. I got to think that the engine might be running, but I think it's hurt.
And you know, Darrell, when I walked through the garage area this morning, it may not be related, as we see all the leaders come to pit road, they were contemplating changing the engine in that 88 car, and they decided not to.
Jeannie in Kurt Busch's pit.
Well, the 97 at Kurt Busch, he's looking to take a little bite out of the rock. They've been trying to get more bite in the car. Air pressure adjustments to all 4 tires this time, and he said repeatedly every stop, please clean the windshield. Dick?
Another nice smooth stop for Rusty Wallace right now. David Cox, the new jack man, has just let it go. Matty.
Left side's going on. Matt Kenseth's forward. He's going to beat his teammate down pit road. He said the last set of tires, which only had 12 laps on them, were a little more free. He didn't want to make any significant adjustments, just a half a pound air pressure adjustment change in the right rear steam.
Well, Jamie McMurray just getting off of pit road, Matt. He's complaining about the car being a little bit too loose, but that time they didn't make any major adjustments. Also, to follow up on Dale Jarrett, he's just been pushed back towards the garage.
And the reason you hear all the drivers complain constantly about I can't see, if you're headed down into turn 1, you're looking right into the sun, and it absolutely blinds you. And you put the little of that sand that we see around here, get that on the windshield. Fortunately, we now have tear-offs. Back in the old days, we didn't have tear-offs. You just had to kind of fake it and get on down there with the help of a spotter.
Under caution for the 5th time today. Pit stop complete for Matt Kenseth and Robbie Reiser's Killer Bees as they celebrate. We'll be right back. One more lap to the restart here at Rockingham. Here's where the Coca-Cola Racing family is running in today's race. And that out list is growing. In addition to Petty and Jarrett, it includes Carl Long, Jimmy Johnson, Kirk Shelmerdine, and Joe Ruttman. Steve.
Well, Mike, just as Carl Long started his tumble, I reported that Casey Kane said his car is getting tighter, but that's okay. He likes it. The track temp has dropped from 87 degrees at race start to 79 degrees. They dropped air pressure on the left side tires on their last stop, Dick Berggren.
Rusty Wallace looking for his first win in 100 starts. Car had gotten a little bit loose before the caution flag. That cost him 2 spots. Not the best pit stop, 15.24. That cost him 1 more. He'll take the green in 5th position.
Robbie Gordon was the first car 1 lap down when the caution came out, so he got the free pass. Brendan Gaughan is now in that position on the restart. Matt Kenseth to bring him around for a restart at lap 279, and we'll crank it up for you. At the south end of the racetrack. Turn 2 now completely in shade as Jamie McMurray tries to chase down Matt Kenseth for the lead.
Yeah, I believe that's the best car right now. Saw the same thing yesterday in the Busch race. We didn't hear much out of McMurray running around the top 5. All of a sudden it comes down near the end of the show, and there he was leading the thing and winning it.
But DW, where Matt Kenseth has been so good since he's been leading this race is on restarts, getting such a jump on everybody.
He got the right gears in his gearbox.
Our Quaker State aerial coverage will show you the sun and the shade here at Rockingham. This is the north end of the track, turns 3 and 4, bathed in sunlight.
You know, Steve Burns was talking about the track temperature. Right now, halfway through turn 1 and 2, all the way the exit of 2 is in the shade. That track temperature has really come down. That will make a car tighter and slide around less.
But coming down the front straightaway, Darrell, you face that sun, and the lower it gets in the sky, the tougher it gets.
Oh yeah, and they, you know, guys keep on complaining about, you know, get that tear off the windshield.
7th place battle. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Sterling Marlin, and Ward Burton in the 0.
And Ward's just been solid all day long, right there flirting with the top 10, anywhere from about 8th to about 15th. Tell you who's really getting stronger and stronger as this day goes on. Also, though, right in front of Ward Burton in the 0 is Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 car. Remember, Ricky Rudd in the 21 car. He's several laps down, but this is a battle for 7th, 6 and 7.
Matt has more on the point leader.
Mike, at the top of the show, he documented how Dale Earnhardt Jr. has struggled here at the Rock. Never led, still hasn't yet today. He's never scored a top 10 finish. He's still working on the top 10. They have made significant wedge adjustments on the last 3 stops. Dale Jr. says, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. The car's not perfect, but it is definitely getting there.
And right now, he is going to become an aggravated human being with Ricky Rudd in that 21 car, because Ricky's 2 laps down, and he's running right where Dale wants to be running that 8 car.
But you know, there's a word that he used that every driver, they strive for: perfect. You want that car to be perfect, because when the car is doing the work, you can just drive it so much better. You don't have to worry about what the car is going to do. That's why a driver's never happy when he goes home. He never got it perfect.
Here comes Burton, Ward Burton. Chasing 7th place.
He actually just moved into 7th place. Ward Burton in that 0 car. His car's working right around the bottom of this racetrack.
What's messing me up is Elliott Sadler's car. They didn't put the colors back on that car.
Yeah.
It looks, as it gets over on the backstretch, it looks like that dairy car we had a couple of years ago, the move over car.
Well, if you can find the colors, you'll become much richer with the promotion they have going right now.
That's true. Sterling Marlin trying to hold that pack off. little further back, Michael Waltrip in the Napa Chevy, Jeremy Mayfield in the 19, and Jeff Gordon's DuPont Chevy coming back up in the running order, up to 15.
After getting that free pass a while ago, getting back on the lead lap. His car's just not that good on the long run, though. It's strong in the beginning, but not good on the long run.
Hey, they're staying grouped up, though. You know, as the race winds down, it seems like the guys all get closer together. Start fighting for every position. As you can see right here, I mean, these guys have been grouped up like this forever.
And Craven and Mark Martin got together there.
And I tell you, Mark Martin, his guys have kept him on the lead lap. He's sitting there in 16th after being involved in that wreck on the backstretch. Steve, a lot of adjustments on that car.
Yeah, Larry Mack, and they had extensive damage to the left front fender of that race car. They've been on pit road by my count at least 6 times. Mark had gotten loose prior to that incident with Carl Long, but they've done a great job of taping up the nose of that race car.
There's the damage to the front of Mark Martin's Niagara Ford. Here's what just happened. He slid up into Craven.
With the nose damaged, the car's going to push it a little bit more, and he just pushed off the corner and got into the car beside it.
This was a view from Robbie Gordon in the 31 car. That also gives you a good shot of what driving off into turn 1 looks like into this sun this late in the race.
That's why you run up on the car in front of you so close before you realize he's there. You do not see him. You really can't see him.
Mayfield gets past the 15 of Michael Waltrip. That moves Jeremy up to 14th position. 100 laps to go. The defending Cup champion, Matt Kenseth, leads Jamie McMurray by 0.8 of a second. 3.2 seconds off the lead is the Sharpie number 97. That's Kurt Busch. 4 seconds off the lead is Casey Kane, and Rusty Wallace is 6 seconds back. There's Casey. 4th place, 3.9 seconds back. A couple of lap cars, then Rusty Wallace, who's in 5th place, 6.4 seconds from the leader.
If I'm Matt Kenseth and I know that's Jamie McMurray back there closing on me, I'd be worried knowing how he runs here. He really has this place dialed in.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., 6th place, 7.7 seconds behind the leader. And right on his bumper is Ward Burton in the Net Zero Chevy. Now Sterling Marlin is a second behind them. His Dodge has moved away from Elliott Sadler's Ford by about 2 seconds.
I tell you, a guy on the move, there's Elliott Sadler in the 38, but the guy that just went by him, Kevin Harvick in the 29 car, he just moved into 9th, started back in 32nd. He was on the verge of going a lap down twice early in the race. So I think track temperature, track conditions, plus adjustments by Todd Berry in that group has him back in the hunt.
And the same way about him yesterday. You know, he didn't run that well until the very end of that Busch race. They gambled on pit strategy, got him up front, and got him a decent finish. And today, here he is, closing laps.
And Harvick had to overcome that penalty of restarting at the end of the longest line for cutting out from the pit entrance when a caution came out. Our pole sitter, Ryan Newman, blew the field away by 1/4 of a second in qualifying, but now finds himself in 11th place. Matt?
He was as deep as 14th, Mike, on the pit stop. The left front tire changer, Dennis Terry, when he's working on that left front, the impact gun broke, a lug stuck in the socket. He had to wait until Joe Pietri was done on the left rear, and then Joe went up and hit the lugs on the left front. The biggest hindrance, though, for Ryan Newman, they feel like they can't keep up with the racetrack. They continue to try to free up that 12 car, but the changes they continue to make aren't enough. The car still is tight, run after run.
Meanwhile, Casey Kane driving that train. He's pulled right down on Kurt Busch for 3rd place.
They're having a heck of a battle. They've been side by side there for a few laps, and then Casey fell back behind Kurt to see maybe if he can set him up again, but he's really good right here. Casey is coming off turn 4.
You know, no matter what happens to Casey Kane in these last 93 laps, I have been so impressed. Can you just think of the pressure on this kid? This is only his 2nd Nextel Cup start. He's in the 9 car that Bill Elliott has been synonymous for years. Plus, this is a car that won the race here in the fall. That's called pressure. And he's handling it nicely.
Meanwhile, Matt Kenseth's rear view mirror is going to be filling up with Jamie McMurray. Just half a second separate them.
Mike, I know you're going to agree with me, and I'm going to bring this up right now with Matt Kenseth. Regardless of what he does, so much talk about this chase for the championship being changed because of the way he ran away with the point system. He didn't run that well in the last 10 races. You and I were talking the other day that the reason he ran that way, he was protecting his lead. He's showing these guys now, change it, I'll adapt to it.
Sure. Jeff Gordon has caught Ryan Newman's 12 and Kevin Harvick's 29, and Gordon's going to try to leapfrog them both to 10th place.
Well, Jeff's kind of had an up and down day. He got those laps down there early, and he started to climb back into the hunt here. He's still almost a half lap down to the leaders, but it's good recovery.
Speaking of leaders, we do have two of them right now. They're neck and neck headed into turn one. Jamie McMurray in the 42 car, right where he finished the Busch race yesterday. He takes the lead.
Well, let's see. Looking back a year ago, you know, Kurt Busch stormed to the front, had a really fast car, pretty much ran the tires off it. Dale Jarrett conserved his stuff and won the race. We still have a way to go. 89 laps.
I got a lot of confidence in McMurray. I just watched him run those Busch races here, 4 of them, and he's won in with three different cars and 3 different teams. I don't see why he couldn't do that again today.
3 drivers in history have won both the Busch race and the Cup race on the same weekend at Daytona. Bobby Allison, Darrell Waltrip, and last week Dale Earnhardt Jr. Nobody has ever done the weekend double here at the Rock. Well, Darrell, it's a 30-lap sprint. What do you think the chances are of Jamie McMurray being able to run down Matt Kenseth as 30 laps wind up?
Matt's car's been pretty decent even in the get-go, from the get-go all the way through a run, whereas Jamie and Casey have been a little bit better on the long run. So I think that Kenseth's in pretty darn good shape.
I was going to say Jamie McMurray's first obstacle is going to be Casey Kane in that 9 car, because Casey looks like he's getting off the corner much better than Jamie McMurray in the 42 right now.
Any way you look at it, though, you got Kenseth the champion, and you got these kids chasing him. I think that's pretty cool.
A little further back, Rusty Wallace and Ryan Newman battle for 6th and 7th with Kurt Busch, the 97, 6th, 7th, and 8th. For more on Rusty, here's Dick.
Every race driver wants his last stop of the day to be the best stop of the day. In Rusty Wallace's case, the last stop was by far the worst stop. Over 17 seconds. He came in 2nd. He went out in 6th position. The crew is still trying to get the television cameras to work so they can replay it. Even they haven't figured out what went wrong.
And for a guy that's trying to win a race, had won a race in a couple of years, under a lot of fire, under a lot of pressure, that's just one of those distractions he did not need.
By contrast, Matt Kenseth's pit stop was more than 3 seconds better than Wallace's final pit stop. Now, the restart had Kenseth alongside his Roush Racing teammate Martin Martin, and we're now been told that Martin and his owner and crew chief have been called to what we formerly knew as the Big Red Truck after the race, what we now know as
the Oval Office. If you look on the side of the truck, it's got a big oval on it. We race on ovals. Seemed like the perfect name to me, the Oval Office.
I like it.
You go there and you have a little summit meeting. Doesn't matter who's what administration's in, it always works.
The last lap, Matt Kenseth and Casey Kane, they ran identical speeds, but the 2 laps prior to that, Casey Kane chopped about a half a second off of Matt Kenseth's lead.
He is slowly closing that gap.
And they're running 2 different grooves completely. Casey Kane has been right around the bottom. Matt Kenseth, along with Jamie McMurray in the 42, been right up against the wall.
Yeah, now's when you want to find the bottom, because that's the fastest way around. The track is shaded. There's no more sun. Should be nice and cool. A lot of grip. Got to go, baby.
Let's go back and have a look at that restart, Darrell. What NASCAR asks the lap cars to do is show respect for the cars on the lead lap when you restart.
See anything wrong here? They both take off together. you know, got good speed through the corner. Now possibly right here with the bent up front end, he should have probably dropped down out of the way right there.
I think that's probably what they were talking about right here, and even through 3 and 4.
But as you can see, for
I give that a 50-50. I think if Casey Kane had a better restart, Mark wouldn't have been able to pull up in
and
front.
here's the thing about Mark Martin, he shows no favorites. I know that Matt's his teammate, but I just don't. Mark's not that kind of guy.
Well, that's why they review these things down in the Oval Office.
And it doesn't hurt to come into the Oval Office every now and then and have a meeting. Kind of look around, see what it looks like. Mark hadn't probably been in there for a while.
Just looks don't want the same on the inside. Trust me, I've already been in there.
Just don't want to have a reserved seat. Matt Kenseth 0.8 of a second up on Casey Kane. Jamie McMurray 0.3 back of Kane. Sterling Marlin 2.5 seconds back of them.
Boy, Jamie is doing what he did yesterday. He's riding there in 3rd place, and that car really, his cars here, his Busch car and the Cup car, they get in the corner so well, particularly the 3rd turn. He really has a knack for floating it in there really fast.
That last lap, he was quicker than Matt Kenseth and Casey Kane in the 9 car.
And if he's a little loose there, they may have adjusted that rear air pressure just a tad. It might take a lap or 2 to free him up where he can get going here. Look at him close in here in 3 and 4.
And that's what I love about this racetrack. You know, when you catch somebody here, you can pass them. You don't have to follow them.
And I think you're right, Darrell. If this last restart came with 50 laps to go, I like McMurray. But with only 30 laps to work with, that may not be enough time for him.
It's going to be a nail biter.
And right smack in the middle of those 2 contenders, what a fabulous job by rookie Casey Kane. Yes, he's with the team that won here last fall. Yes, he has all the notes that Bill Elliott relied on to get him to victory lane. But he's a rookie. He was the subject of a big battle between Ford and Dodge as to who he would drive for this year. He's trying to fill Bill Elliott's shoes. What a job he's done.
And why do these young men get these opportunities? Because of what he's doing right here today. Because they deserve it and because they can step up.
There are the contenders for the Ray Bestis Rookie Award. Casey Kane well out ahead of Sauter, Wimmer, Vickers, and Gaughan.
Wimmer's, he's back there in 15th spot. He's had a decent day as well.
Every one of these rookies were winners in the Busch Series last year, except for Brendan Gaughan. He pretty much dominated the Craftsman Truck Series as far as wins.
Yeah, Brendan's probably more of a rookie, a true across-the-board rookie than anybody else is because he's got the least amount of time in these cars.
Here's our Daytona 500 winner and the Nextel Cup point leader, Dale Earnhardt Jr. He's 4.5 seconds off the lead at what has been the worst of his tracks, but is in 5th place, and he is the top Chevrolet in this race.
And remember Matt Kenseth last year. They won the most races the year before, but they analyzed their program over the winter, and they said, look, we know we can win races, but we got to be more consistent. Dale Jr. knows he can win races, but he's got to be more consistent. Maybe he learned from last year.
Every race takes on a greater importance this year in the points. NASCAR, after 26 races this season, will throw a caution flag on the season, bring all of the top 10 and everyone else within 400 points of the leader up to just 1 car length apart, 5 points apart, and restart the season with 10 laps to go to chase the championship.
You know what's at the end of that championship? $5 million.
Yeah, that's kind of what I like. Forget how you get there. I just like the reward, the bonus. And it's like everything we do in this sport. Once racing started back in Daytona, it doesn't matter what it is. We got to race every week. We'll deal with it as we go forward.
And, you know, going back to Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 car, I know they came here with winning on their mind, but trust me, a top 5 finish for them would be like a win.
It would be his best yet. So that's a big gain.
Jeff Burton goes in the garage. He's done for the day. Ricky Craven comes out of the garage to run a few more laps, and we get a weekend off. Wait, we just started.
I'm not happy.
I don't want a weekend off.
I'm not happy about that at all.
But then we'll go to Las Vegas in 2 weeks' time with NASCAR on Fox.
Another racetrack where Matt Kenseth is the defending champion of that race.
Viva Las Vegas.
Matt Kenseth won from 25th starting spot here 2 years ago. Today he started 23rd. So his qualifying fortunes have improved. But at the end of the race, same story.
We're tightening up here for the lead. I'm telling you, it's getting closer and closer for those front 3 right there.
Oh, yeah, this is not over.
And they're also coming up on some lap cars, and we know they can play a factor in this thing, especially near the later laps of the race.
Inside 10 laps to go. They may just all three be side by side at the checker. Casey Kane has caught Matt Kenseth.
We've seen some exciting finishes here through the years. One goes high, one goes low on that last lap. And we got a drag race to the start-finish line.
I believe Casey's a little better than Kenseth in 3 and 4. Maybe Kenseth's just a little better in 1 and 2.
Now this is where you got to be careful as a rookie. You got a faster car. You've caught this guy. Do you have the knowledge? Do you have the what it takes to get by him?
Is this like a dog that chases cars going down the street? You catch one. Now I caught one. What do I do with it?
Raw. I caught him. Not only that, but he's got McMurray, you know, breathing down his back too. So,
and look at all the time that Kenseth just lost in 3 and 4 on that lap.
Just don't forget about that guy in third. Remember, he won in his second Nextel Cup start. You know what it is for Casey Kane? His second Nextel Cup start.
And one Busch race that he won here. Michael and Jeff Green were racing for the lead. They got together in 3. He drove under them and won the race and picked up the name McLucky.
And he did it yesterday. He drove underneath 2 cars that got together, one a leader, one a lap car.
Guys, he got a heck of a run off turn 4 that time. Jamie McMurray in the 42 car right around the bottom. The other 2 cars were at the top. They're all going to hang near the bottom in 1 and 2 this time.
5 laps to go.
Everybody is right now. They're doing all they can do. They're not leaving anything on the table. Matt's got to kind of wonder where these guys are going to go.
Now that time McMurray in the 42, he goes to the top side. He saw the lap car on the bottom, thought they would catch him, so he was forced to go to the top.
And something I don't think I've ever seen in NASCAR racing. The starter will not wave the checkered flag. Our Grand Marshal for a day, John Cyrus, our contest winner, is going to get to do it. But who's he going to wave it over?
Right now, he don't know.
I think it's going to be a photo finish.
There's McMurray, pulls right up to the back of Casey Kane in the 9 car. Now he's moved his car to the top the last 2 laps in 3 and 4. They drive off into 1. They cannot see now. The sun's right in their eyes.
See, I think Matt has an advantage. He knows just how hard to drive his car. And these guys behind him, they're trying to drive harder and harder to get around him, and it's going to hurt them.
There'll be 2 laps to go this next time. There's 1 lap car up in front of him, Derek Cope in the 50 car.
And he won't be a factor. He pulls down and out of the way. 2 crew chiefs looking on. Robbie Reiser, Tommy Baldwin. 2 to go. 3 cars that could win it.
Boy, the 9 got a great one off of 2 that time. He went up a little high, but he couldn't carry it all the way off. Had to get out of the throttle a tiny bit over there off of 2.
Look, McMurray looks like he's going to go to the bottom this time. This is where he's been so good.
That's where he should have been. I would have gone to the bottom sooner if I'd have been him.
He just like yesterday. The pass. White flag this time. 1 to go, boys.
All right, somebody's got to go different. Can't all go the same way.
Kenseth went low in 1. Changes lanes. Here comes Kane on the outside.
Just can't quite mat it right there off of turn 2.
McMurray almost hit the wall exiting 2 and drops back.
Yeah, he lost a lot of ground right there. Last time through 3 and 4, though.
Here they
Kane goes to the bottom.
Kane comes to the bottom. It's
he gets a run. He's got a good run on him.
Side by side of the line. Kenseth.
Told you it'd be a FOMOCO finish.
Matt Kenseth wins the Subway 400. His 8th career win.
1/100th of a second.
That was a great, but you know, that was really smart on Kane's part. He saved his best for the last lap, the last turn.
Here it is again. Coming out of 2, McMurray got a little loose. It made it a 2-car race. Here they come to the line.
Kane got such a run off turn 4.
Woo, baby.
Wow.
All right.
And he asked his team 3 different times, are you sure that I won? Each time they said, yes, it's a photo finish, but you are the winner for the first time in 34 races. Matt Kenseth goes to victory lane. A hug by car owner Jack Roush. Matt, you said on the radio that was the most fun you've ever had in a race car, period.
It was a blast. The end was a little stressful. Everybody's been asking me about rookies this year. I said, man, you got to watch out for Casey King because he's kind of the sleeper. But it was a great day for our DeWalt car. I got to thank our sponsors real quick. DeWalt, Smirnoff Ice, Triple Black, Carhartt, GE Lexlane, all the guys that help us out. But our Ford Taurus was stuck good today, and I just had a blast. You know, everybody at the Roush engine department and the Yates engine department, everybody combining that has done such a great job. We just got awesome engines. We got a better body this year, and I I think you're going to see a lot of this year. Maybe not for me, but I think from all the Roush boys. So this is a good way to start it off.
Now, you asked 3 times how close it was. Let's take a look at the monitor. You can just see how close that finish was, Matty.
Yeah, I think we needed every bit of the power we had there at the end. I knew he was going to be close, and I didn't want to spin the tires off at 4, and he was getting air off my door there, and I just tried staying away from him. But I probably should have pulled down a little bit, but it was a close race. But these guys have worked hard for this, and feels good to be here. This is for everybody who says we couldn't lead laps and win races. This feels good.
Sure is. 5 straight top 10s here at the Rock, including the win today.
Baby.
Wow.
All right.
NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.